Welcome to the From My Stand podcast with Matt Hinkle. Whether you are an avid hunter, a novice, or someone interested in the sport, Matt has a unique perspective to share. Sit back, relax, and kick your boots up as Matt shares what he's seeing from his stand.
Hi, friends. Welcome to today's episode. I'm your host, Matt Hinkle, and it is right in the middle of the dog days of summer. We're in late June, and what I thought we would do for this week's episode is I got a little bit of deer meat left in the freezer from last year, and I think what we're going to do is just show you one of our favorite things, our family's favorite things to do with venison, and that is to make jerky. Now, sometimes I make jerky out of whole muscle meat, which just means you just take a steak or a roast or something and slice it real thin, and you have whole muscle meat. That's a great way to make jerky. It's one of my favorite ways. But also, you can make jerky out of ground venison, and that's what I'm going to show you how to do this week. We're going to take, because I got a lot of ground venison, I got a lot of hamburger in the freezer. I want to get rid of it, and one of our favorite things to do with it is to turn it into jerky. And so I'm going to show you how we do that this week. So stay tuned and we'll show you step by step what you need to do. Thanks.
All right, step one in making jerky is getting the right seasoning. And the best place to get that is at your local Cabela's. They got everything. So I usually get this High Mountain seasonings. And let's get one original. And let's get one Inferno. These and you can see they got a lot of different kinds. These will make 15 pounds, and I'm gonna make about 5 pounds. Probably make half hot and half original. So anyway, that's step one. Go to Cabela's, get your seasoning, and then go home and show you what's next. I'm gonna look around a little bit though, because I can never come into Cabela's and just look at one thing. So we'll see what else they got. All right. Well, I got the mix for the jerky, and we don't have a whole lot of deer meat left. It's June, and we only killed one deer last year. Matthew shot one. So we got some. This is all burger. There's some burger down there under them boxes. We got a few roasts and a few steaks left. I am going to make this jerky out of burger. So this stuff in the camo bags is a little bit older than the stuff in the white bags. So I'm going to use the camo bags, and I think I'm going to get 5 pounds. So we will make our jerky out of those. So I got the blend. I got 5 pounds out of the freezer, and they're going to have to thaw out. So that's the next step. Let these thaw out. So once they're thawed out, I'll get back with you and show you what we do next.
All right. Well, we're in the kitchen and we are going to be making jerky this week. We've went to the store and gotten our jerky seasoning, and I got the High Mountain Inferno blend, which is going to be really hot, and then the original blend, which is going to be basically like a traditional jerky. And got these from Cabela's, and those are really reliable. We've used those a lot. So I'm going to ultimately make about 10 pounds, but in this episode, I'm going to make 4 pounds. I got 2 pounds of ground venison in this bowl, 2 pounds of ground venison in this bowl. And what we're going to do at this step, so we got our thawed out but cold ground venison in 2 glass bowls. And then we're going to mix everything up, and then you need to let it marinate in the refrigerator covered with like a saran wrap for at least 4 hours, but I'm going to leave it overnight, let it marinate. The longer it marinates, the better it's going to taste. So we're in the kitchen. So the first thing we're going to do is wash our hands and get our hands clean. And then we will start with our blend. Okay. It's real easy. Now you can make your own blend if you want. There's recipes out there. Personally, I think this high mountain stuff is really good. Let's do the hot in here. And what you'll get in your packaging is you'll get seasoning and cure. The lighter stuff is cure. This is the seasoning. And there's a chart, and it tells us with the seasoning. And there's also whole muscle meat chart. That is not what this is. This is ground meat. And then there's a ground meat chart. That's the one we want to use. We're doing 2 pounds a piece. And so we need 1 tablespoon and 2 teaspoons of the seasoning. So 1 tablespoon, I think, I'll make sure we get this right. 1 tablespoon and 2 teaspoons. All right, for whatever reason, this pouch is not resealable. All the other pouches are resealable. So this one I'll have to reseal with a clothespin. Okay, so there's the 1 tablespoon, and I just kind of feather it around there. And then 2 teaspoons, and this is 1 teaspoon. So we'll do 1, and then we'll do 2. Okay, so there's the seasoning. Now, for the cure, you're going to do 1 tablespoon and 1 teaspoon. This will be pretty easy. So open this package. 1 teaspoon. You want to be real careful with the cure. With the seasoning, it's if you over season, it's fine. It ain't going to hurt anything. But if you over cure, that can actually be, that's not good. That could actually make you sick. So you want to go exactly what the chart says. Then you always want to add a 1/4 cup of cold water for every pound of meat. So this is a 1/4 cup. I'm going to get cold filtered water. 1, cold filtered water. 2, and that's a 1/4 cup per pound. And then I'm going to set this over to the side. Now we're going to do the original blend, and it has a chart. Now the chart may be the exact same. Let me see. It is. It's the exact same. So we're seasoning this the exact same that we did the other. And that's going to be 1 tablespoon. So 2 of these, because this is a 1/2 tablespoon. I couldn't find my, I searched the drawer for my 1 tablespoon and I couldn't find it. Now you mix these by hand. I'm going to go ahead and season them, everything before I mix. Because once I start mixing, my hands are going to be dirty. And 2 of these. One of our favorite things to do with deer is jerky. It's real easy to make. We're going to make it in a dehydrator. It's super easy to make. It's a little easier to make with muscle meat. It's a little easier than with the ground meat. But man, I tell you, one of my favorite things to do with a deer is grind it up into burger. And one of my favorite things to do with the burger is to make jerky. It's a little bit of it's a little harder to make jerky with ground meat because you got to roll it out. And I'm going to show you how to do that. You got to roll it out. Then you want to semi-freeze it. And then you got to cut it into the strips. And with muscle meat, it's all one step. You season it. You cut it, season it, throw it in the dehydrator. So it's a little bit more involved when you have ground meat, but it's still pretty easy. You're going to do your marinade, and we're going to let it marinate overnight. And then tomorrow I'm going to roll this out flat. We're going to put it in the dehydrator, and we're going to go with it. It's going to be great. I'm going to tell you, you'll love it. It's really, really good. Okay, my hands are clean. And so now what you do is you just by hand, you mix it. And you want to mix it really good as you can. And get the seasoning, get the cure as even in there as you can. And then when you let it marinate, that flavor will really fill out the burger. Personally, I think ground venison makes a little better jerky. One, it's easier to chew. So if you have any kind of teeth sensitivity or gum sensitivity or anything like that, it's real tender, where muscle meat can be a little bit chewy and can be a little bit difficult to chew. But also, I just think the flavor fills it out better when you do it with the ground meat. Okay, that's probably about all we need to do. That's probably good enough. Now, I'm going to tell you something. This Inferno, this stuff is hot. I've had it before. I've made it before. And when they say Inferno, they're not kidding. So, you better make sure that you have, that you like spicy stuff, because this stuff is going to be really, really spicy. But that's okay. We're getting there. If it grosses you out using your hands, you can wear plastic gloves. I'll probably make the next batch with plastic gloves because I'll give that away. But if your hands are clean, you're going to dry this out thoroughly, and it's going to be just fine. I have put them in the not the blender, but like a mixing bowl before. But really, I think it just does it a little bit better when you do it by hand like this, because you really want to get your seasoning into every bit of that ground venison that you can. And I think that's good. So now I'm going to wash one more time, and then we're just going to put saran wrap on it as tightly as we can and keep it from getting any air to it. And then it's just going to marinate through the night. And then tomorrow we're going to roll it out flat and on wax paper. And what you want to do, and I'll show you this when we do it, but what you want to do with it is then you want to put it back in the freezer. Don't freeze it, but get it semi-frozen. Because if you try to cut ground meat with a knife and it's room temperature or even cold, it doesn't cut very well. It just tends to kind of ball up. It does not cut very well. It does not do very good. So you want to get it kind of semi-frozen and rigid, and that will allow you to cut it, and you can get your strips a lot more even. So I'll show you what I mean tomorrow when we get to that point. But anyway, for tonight, we need to get it in the refrigerator, get it marinating, and this stuff's going to be pretty good, man. This high mountain jerky blend and then ground venison is really hard to beat. So anyway, we'll get back with you tomorrow, and show you what the rest of the process looks like. All right, thanks. All right, well, so last night we put the seasoning and the cure on our ground venison, and it marinated in the refrigerator all night. This is the spicy, and then the regular is in the refrigerator. And I'm not going to have all of this on camera because it's just time consuming and tedious. Let me show you what you do next. Okay, I just cleaned my hands, so my hands are clean. And what you want to do, and this is a little bit of trial and error. It's, I'm just going to, you just make a little ball of ground venison. And normally I would do this on wax paper, and we are out of wax paper. I didn't even realize it. So I'm doing it on foil. But make you a ball, and then normally I would recommend wax paper, but I don't have that. So we are going to do it with aluminum foil, but you just roll it out. Now, I will say this is why ground venison is harder to make jerky out of than muscle meat, muscle, strips of steak or whatever, because you don't have to roll that out. With that, all you do is you just simply, cut it into thin strips, marinate it, throw it in the dehydrator. With this, you got to roll it out, and you can kind of see that I did that, and it's a little bit of a pain, so I'm gonna have to roll that out a little bit more. Let me see without putting any. Yeah, it kind of sticks to the rolling pin, so it's better to have something on over that. But anyway, however you want to accomplish this is up to you. I won't micromanage how you do that, but yeah, this isn't working real good. I did not realize I didn't have any. I didn't realize I didn't have any wax paper or parchment paper. But that's okay. We're still gonna get it done. But you want to get it about a 1/4 inch thick. And then let me tell you what I'm going to do with it. I'm going to take it and I'm going to have layers of it. I'm going to have it layered in this foil. And then I'm going to take all my layers and put it in this pan. So I'll have several layers, and then I'm going to put it in the freezer. And the reason for that is I want it to be semi-frozen. Then I'll peel it off. Then I'll take a pizza cutter, and I'll show you this on camera. I'll take a pizza cutter while it's semi-frozen, cut it into, jerky-sized pieces, and then peel it off of the foil, put it in the dehydrator. If you try to do it in this consistency, it's very messy and it doesn't hold together. So you want to get it frozen. So anyway, I'm not going to do all this on camera and force you to watch this, but this step is get it all rolled out to where it looks like that. It's about 1/4 inch thick pieces. And then you're going to semi-freeze it to cut it into strips, peel it off of this, and put it in the dehydrator. And we'll show you that when we get to that point. Okay, thanks. All right, so let's review what we've done so far. We have gotten our meat out of the freezer and thawed it out. We went to Cabela's and got the High Mountain jerky seasoning, the original and the Inferno. We mixed up the right amount of seasoning and the right amount of cure with our ground venison. We've rolled it out with a rolling pin, and we put it on these sheets, and we put it in the freezer to get it kind of semi-frozen. Now, I've got my LEM dehydrator out, and you can get these. They're around 150 bucks at Cabela's, and these work really good. Now, let me show you what I want to do with these sheets of jerky meat. So the reason I get them frozen like this is they just handle better. And then I just take a pizza cutter, and we'll see how this goes. Just kind of cut them. If you try to do this with it not semi-frozen, it just doesn't work very well. It's really, really hard to do. And I just kind of put it in hand-sized pieces. what I do. Okay, so I made all my cuts. Move it over to here, and then let's just take a tray out. Here's one of the trays. And all you're going to do now is lay your pieces on your tray. And I'm not going to have you watch me do every piece, but we'll lay one sheet out, get it on there, and that's about what you want it to look like. I know it kind of looks funny in the undried stage, but it's going to be really, really good. We are big fans of this type of jerky, and you're seeing the whole process about how it's made. So you just take all your pieces, just kind of lay them out on there. Sometimes they can be a little bit stubborn. Just do your best. I mean, it's jerky. It's not going to be perfect, and that's okay. It is a lot easier, though, if it's in this tacky, frozen state. I'm telling you, I've done it before where it was all thawed out, and it doesn't work very good. It is a mess. Okay, there's one sheet of it. And then you're just going to, so I'm not going to do all this on camera, but we're going to do each tray. I think there's 5 of them. And then I just turn it to the highest temperature, and then I dry it for about 2.5 hours, check it. And then some of the thinner pieces might be done in just 2.5 hours. I found most of the time about 3.5 hours is good enough for jerky. One other thing you can do, I don't do it anymore. I got the dehydrator but you can lay these on an oven rack. You can lay your your sections of meat on an oven rack, and then close the oven, put it on the lowest setting, like 170 degrees, and then close the oven door, but put like a wooden spoon in it to keep it vented just a little bit. But you got to put a pan at the bottom of the oven to catch all the grease. I did start a fire one time in our oven because I was not careful enough with that, and I got into some trouble with that. But anyway, you can do that. It can be done. All right. Well, we'll cut the camera for now, and then when I get back, we'll show you what it looks like coming out of the dehydrator. So we'll see you soon. All right. Well, the process is complete, and I'm not showing me taking it out of the dehydrator. The dehydrator is in my garage, and my garage is a mess. I don't want you to see my messy garage right now, but this is the finished product. And I'm actually going to make a little more than twice this amount, but I'm not filming all of it. But this is the stuff that we put in the dehydrator last night, and here's how it turned out. I'm going to see if the camera can come in close. Here is the original stuff. And here's a baggie with the hot or inferno. And what I do when I take it out of the dehydrator, first of all, I don't recommend eating it right out of the dehydrator. It's a little warm. I don't think it tastes as good right out of the dehydrator. I like to put them in gallon bags, leave them open. Don't close the gallon bags right away because you can see there's a little bit of moisture and a little bit of condensation in that bag. That's from the heat of the jerky. When you put it into the refrigerator, it'll get a little bit of condensation on it. If you seal this thing up and leave it for a day or two in your refrigerator, it can actually mold. So you don't want to do that. So leave the bags open until you know what you're going to do with it. Then you can parcel it out into smaller bags, give it to family and friends, divide it up for yourself so you don't eat it all in one sitting. What I'm going to do with some of this is I'm actually going to vacuum seal it and try to save some of it for a while. Like I said, this is just the beginning. I'm going to be doing probably more than double this amount. Also, I'm going to vacuum seal some original blend, and I'm going to vacuum seal some Inferno blend and send it to my little nephew, Cooper Combs, and he is going to review it on his channel, Cooper Plays. So you might want to check that out. But let's see how it turned out. All right. This is the original blend. If you want to bring the camera in, this is what it looks like. This is original blend, and this is kind of what you turn out with. I'm going to take a little pinch of it. All right. Oh, yeah. Home run. Pretty good. All right, that's the original. This is the Inferno. This stuff, be careful with it. It's very hot. If you make the Inferno blend and burn yourself, you were warned. Give me a little piece off of that. It's good. If you're somebody that has trouble with the texture of jerky, some people, jerky's kind of tough, hurts their teeth or whatever. If that's you, ground venison is the way to go. It's not as tough. The burger, it's dried out just like the whole muscle meat. It's a real jerky experience, but it's not nearly as tough. And so if you're somebody that needs it to be just a little less tough, then this is the way to go. But anyway, this is how it turns out. I would just recommend, if you're going to store it for a very long time, jerky will last a long time. It's very shelf stable. But if you're going to do that, make sure you vacuum seal it. Okay. That's just the way that that it keeps the best. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this episode. It's been a little different. We are getting ready to get wide open into hunting, tactical strategy, equipment, gear, all that kind of stuff. This is the last week of June. Next week, I go to youth camp for our church. And when I come back, and we'll have an episode next week, but when I come home from camp, that's when I always get my sights really set towards hunting season. I know I always say there's no off season, so we're always thinking about it. But when I get home from youth camp, it's going to be game on. And so we're going to be talking deer strategy, deer gear, all that kind of stuff. We're going to go out in the field, set some tree stands. So I hope you'll stick with this channel, stick with the podcast. I hope you enjoyed this episode today. I'm your host, Matt Hinkle, and that's how I see it from my stand.
Thank you for listening today. Be sure to tell your buddies and follow us on your favorite podcasting platforms. Y'all take care.